my plan, get to know the community members, and share some about myself. So this is where it goes back to the ethics component that I was talking about with the Horton article. So just making sure that there's relationships built, which I feel like in the case study we didn't see much of. And then connecting with students to see what they want from their school. So maybe connecting with some current students and future students, connect with staff, and observe some of the other schools to learn more about the culture and the rural community. Because like I said, she's from a different part, so just making those connections. And then creating a committee with a variety of different people. But I personally think I would stay the head of the committee. If I was Miss Potter or in her shoes, I would probably stay the head of the committee and just have a ton of awesome people around me. And I honestly may not even consider myself the head. I'd see all of us kind of like equals in this. So I'd probably even change that language too, for us to all kind of be on the same playing field, but I'd still probably have the final say. I would also include stakeholders to be a part of the committee. So things like parents, including more of them, teachers, admin, maybe even a principal from a different school to have them a part of it, so that I can get their input as well. And then from there, deciding as a group on the mission vision statements, not only getting information from the community, but also from the committee, the district, superintendent, that kind of thing. Once we have a draft, send that out to the community, get feedback on how it's going, make revisions, create a final draft, and then create stuff for the school. Section 6, this is just some reference back to other material. So talking about the collaborative process, just to kind of emphasize my thoughts on it. So creating space, providing room for people to speak. So trying to find a lot of people to be involved, not only casting the vision, implementing, communicating and branding, and then sustaining the vision. So this is just more evidence kind of backing what I was talking about. How would you promote the current and future success and well-being of each student in Zolt? So make more of an effort to have, students be a part of making the mission vision statement. So again, talking about me being kind of the final say as the leader of the school, but giving more voice in the matter, the mission and vision statement, still have a voting process, still have them be a part of some decisions, but still ultimately have me have the final say. I'd also reach out to the superintendent for more support throughout the process, as well as speaking to other principals, because I think it's important to have some people in similar positions to help with that. And then again, making connections with staff and community through various events. They could just be really informal, like a barbecue, having everyone get together just to meet people. And then it could be a lot more formal about reviewing the vision statement. So again, just more on how I would have handled it. I think I have a lot of these skills. So not only from this class, we've learned a ton about how to create mission vision statements, what goes into them. I've learned a lot about what it means to be a leader, to create a team, what I look for in creating a team. And then a lot of stuff around just from my experiences. So leading like a sports team, being a teacher, I think is really important. And just kind of understanding how to delegate, but then also come together and work together. And then I'm always trying to improve and to be better with all of these areas. And like I said, I feel like as a teacher, I do a lot of this, and even as a coach too. So, yeah. So again, just kind of diving a little bit more into how I have the capacity for it. Like I said, I would look at other schools, just kind of see, and I feel like I do that as a teacher too. I'm looking at other teachers, seeing what they're doing, and just trying to gather as much information and always looking to improve. And also just trying to have community involvement, seeking other people's wisdom, and kind of their advice and input on how I'm doing, I think is important. And then again, in this situation, having more community involvement, stakeholders, just more people, more eyes on the vision statement, I think would be crucial. So again, having the community, the committee helping decide, share it, get their thoughts, get feedback. So there'd be a few rounds of revisions along with it. Section 7, evaluating the plan. So again, I'd develop and create the team to help navigate some of these crazy decisions, making connections, and just showing that I care, investing my time, resources in that. Having a team is so important. And then again, like I said, connecting to other schools, seeing what the school culture is at some of these other places within the district. I know it'll take a ton of time, but I think it's worth it. Also having lots of trial and error, giving different revisions, different rounds, collaboration, and improvement is always kind of on the forefront of my mind. Pros and cons. Some pros to my plan: making those connections early will be crucial, especially with future decisions coming down the line. So having those connections will be super important. And then creating a team around me, I think, is the best thing any leader can do, creating an awesome team, because they help make me an even better leader. So I think it's important to spend time to create that team and have some team bonding stuff. Some cons. So me kind of having that final say might seem like, or it might come across as like other people's words don't matter. And then another con is it does take a lot of time to develop some of these connections, but again, I think they're all worth it. So they might seem like cons in the end, but worth it. Section 8, develop your plan. So here's just kind of a breakdown again. So action steps, yes, I had all those action steps put out. Yes, a lot of the students were consulted, got their information, lots of community outreach. Yes, it fits all these areas. So there's not a ton on technology, rich instruction, data systems, sports assessments, that kind of thing. But I think that will be a part of kind of that planning process of creating the mission and vision statement. We'll look at like a lot of the other schools. So that definitely will be a focus for sure. Section 9, how did the candidate implement their plan? Making sure key stakeholders would be a part of that community as well as the students, created culture based on relationships that fits that Lightville community and school. So some potential barriers and strategies. I think some barriers could be time to be able to spend connecting with community, and some community pushback of kind of what's being decided. I think some of those things, but again, I think that time is super important, and there's about a year to get it all figured out. And it could take that whole time to build some of those connections, and then create that mission and vision statement. But I think you can also get all the other stuff done. Realistic possibilities for improving. So having feedback, I always strive to have lots of good feedback, and then constantly making revisions. Feasibility, it's all feasible, I think, in this year time frame to get things put into place before the new school opens. So here's kind of the timeline. First few months, get to know the community, build relationships. Next couple months, build committee, begin drafting, send out a draft, and then make changes. So that's kind of the plan with that. Plan will engage stakeholders and resources. So again, sending it out, have the community help out with that, and then getting some of that feedback back. Ongoing evaluation. So again, I always want that feedback. So I'll know it's in a good place when it's been viewed and reviewed by as many people as possible in the community and community. I feel like it's a good place to be a staple in the new school. 10, program standard integration. So here's kind of my thoughts on relevancy, reflection, standard correlation. I feel like this assignment really forced me to kind of dig in and figure out what I would do and how I do things differently. And I definitely had to collaborate and connect with some people and figure out what they would do and kind of what they'd recommend. So I think it really pushed me to look at myself and my decisions and kind of what I do. So I think that was really cool. But here's standard correlation, relevancy, and reflection. And then here's my references from some of the sources here and then some of the sources we've looked at previously.